Hello everyone, I am Shrutapa Datta. Welcome back to my channel Shrutapa's Biology. My today's topic is plastid. Plastid is the most important organelle of the plants. It's not present in animal, we know, because plastid is the, especially chloroplastid is the kitchen of the plant. It's known as kitchen of the plant. Every organelle has some common name or nickname, and plastid is the kitchen of the plant. Now plastid, only chloroplast is not there. Plastids have different kinds. Firstly, I am telling about that plastid was first observed. Plastid was first observed by Ernest Haeckel and also found by Ernest Haeckel. So the scientist name is Ernest Haeckel. He first coined and discovered the plastid, and later Schimper demonstrated it as the kitchen of the plant. Kitchen of the plant. Now this is about the discovery of the plastid, and now I am coming to the classification or types of the plastid. What are the types of the plastid? They are classified in the three broad groups. That is, number one is chromoplastid, number two is chloroplastid, and number three is leucoplastid. So types of plastid. Number one, chromoplastid. Number two, chloroplastid. And number three is leucoplastid. These all plastids are almost ovoid in shape, and here in your syllabus you will study in details about the chloroplastid, the ultrastructure of the chloroplastid you will study, and other than that chromoplastid and leucoplastid I am giving brief idea about them. That is, chromoplastid is that colored one. Colored one, it has different pigments. It's a colored one. It has different pigments like anthocyanin, like beta carotene, xanthophyll, etc. they have. And chloroplastid has chlorophyll, the green pigment. It's the green only. Green plastid, and leucoplastid is colorless. It's colorless. So chromoplastid is the color which gives the color of the flower, ripe fruit, etc. is given by the chromoplastid. And another information for the competitive, that in chromoplastid a special type of plastid is known as lycopene. Lycopene, it gives blood red color to ripe tomato and ripe chili. It gives blood red color. In ripe tomato and chili. You have seen that ripe tomato is very red, and also the chili which is eaten by the parrots, that's the red colored chili, and those are due to the presence of the lycopene. It's very important information for the competitive, and you will not get it in all books. Okay, now next is that the chloroplastid. Chloroplastid is the mostly important one, as it's actually the you can tell it transducer of the plant or kitchen of the plant. Why transducer? Transducer is the device which can convert the form of energy, and it can also convert the form of energy, that is the light energy is converted to chemical energy by the help of the chloroplastid as it performs the photosynthesis. Okay, now this is the chloroplastid, and we shall study about it in illustrated way, the structure of chloroplastid also. Before that I am telling about the leucoplastid. Leucoplastid is colorless. It has role in storing of the food materials. What are the food materials stored by it? Then we have to study about the classification of it. That is, leucoplastid is classified in three groups. Number 1 is amyloplast. Number 2, aleuronplast. And number 3, elaioplast. Now amyloplast is the organelle for storage of the starch, all the starch, and aleuronplast for protein. I am giving the kind of food they are stored by them. It's stores starch, it stores protein, and it stores lipid. So on the basis of the food stored by them, they are known as starch, they are known as amyloplast, aleuronplast and elaioplast. Now aleuronplast, elaioplast, in these cases we can see that the some of them, in case of elaioplast mostly, we can see that sometimes they are converted to green in color, as leucoplast is sometimes converted to chloroplast in presence of solar energy or in presence of sunlight. Sometimes you will see that when we shall purchase the potatoes, some potatoes are sometimes green in color partly, and that's due to the conversion of the elaioplast to chloroplast. This is the conversion take place. Now this is about the kinds of plastid, different plastids. Now I am coming to the main one, that is the chloroplastid, structure of the chloroplastid, ultrastructure of chloroplastid. I am giving you the diagram. I have told you that it's green in color and it's present in the green parts of the plants, tender stem on sometimes, and mostly on the leaves. And in the leaves they are present in the mesophyll cells. Now mesophyll cell has two kinds. Mesophyll cell, they have two kinds of plastid. One is palisade and another is spongy cell. Palisade cell and spongy cell, and it's found in dicots only the dicot plants, and in monocots they have only the spongy cell. They don't have the columnar cell, that is the palisade cell. Palisade is the columnar one and spongy is the round one. In between this mesophyll cell the plastids are found mostly, and other than that in any tender part of the plant, green part of the plant, the plastids are also, we can get there, the chloroplastid. Now about the structure, ultrastructure. It's also a double membrane bound structure and present in only the plant cells. Green in color. Outer wall and inner wall. The outer wall, this is the outer wall and this is the inner wall. Inside outer wall is smooth and inner wall folded to form the stacks of coin-like structures which are completely detached from the inner wall and forms stacks of coin-like structure. This type of structures we shall get inside the plastid under the microscope. These are almost stacks of coin and these are known as grana. This is the main space for the pigments, that is chlorophylls. Chlorophylls are present inside this inside these structures, that is the grana. So structurally the chloroplast is divided into two parts, that is the stacks of coin-like structures or disc-like structures, that is known as grana, and the another is stroma. The matrix is known as stroma. So this is grana or granum. This is grana or in plural granum, and another is stroma. This is stroma. This contains many enzymes for photosynthesis, and the main enzyme for photosynthesis is rubisco, which is present inside it. So matrix gives the different enzymes which help in the photosynthesis. Now photosynthesis has two divisions, that is light reaction or light phase, and another is dark phase. The light phase takes place inside the grana as it contains all the chlorophylls, and in stroma the dark reaction takes place. The dark phase or dark reaction takes place inside the stroma. Now in between the grana, they have some connecting tube-like structure which is known as stroma lamellae or freight channel. This connect the grana, and these are known as stroma lamellae, or as it present inside the stroma, so it's known as stroma lamellae or freight channel. Stroma lamellae or freight channel. Now inside the plastid, inside matrix, there is also presence of circular DNA like the mitochondria. In my last video I have told you about the mitochondria, and there we have seen that mitochondria has the circular DNA as well as ribosomal subunits. Here also ribosomal subunits and circular DNA are present, and as well as RNA, which are required for the protein synthesis. These are the ribosomal subunits. These red dots are ribosomal subunits. Ribosomal subunits, do you know? In ribosome, I shall discuss about it. The subunits, they have no good relation among them. That's why they will never stay together other than protein synthesis. This is the extra discussion here. In ribosome, I shall tell it in details. Now, these are the ribosomal subunit. And other than that, RNA are also present here, and this plastid is also known as the semi-autonomous organelle like the mitochondria, and they have also the same origin history like the history of origin like the mitochondria, that they are also termed by the scientists that they are the endosymbionts, that is they were live inside the eukaryotic cell as the another depending cell or parasite, and later or sorry, not parasite, like symbiont. There are symbiosis in between the eukaryotic cell and mitochondria, and now they are considered as the organelle. So these are also endosymbiont according to the many scientists about its origin. Okay, now this DNA, due to presence of this DNA and ribosomal subunit and other materials required for protein synthesis, as they possess all these things, that's why they can synthesize their own protein at their own need with the prior permission to the from the nucleus, and that's why they are known as, they are also what I have told you lastly, semi-autonomous body, and this is also semi-autonomous body like the mitochondria. Plastid is another organelle which is called as semi-autonomous body. Now what's the function of the plastid? Coming to that, it has main function to synthesize the starch or carbohydrate. Number one, synthesize the food of living organism. form of starch. So chloroplast is so important to us that without chloroplast we can't get any food. Only the chloroplast, due to the presence of chloroplast, plants only can make the food, and they can only trap the energy from the sunlight. So they can trap the solar energy only, and they can make the food. So they are so important for the total living kingdom. As they are present in the plant kingdom, they are not only the friend of the plant, they are the friend of us also. It's very important thing. Now number 2 is that they keep balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the environment or atmosphere, because by the process of photosynthesis, in details we will study in my following video, that in photosynthesis we can plant can synthesize the carbohydrate by taking the carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is very toxic for us in our respiration, and we need oxygen for the respiration, and plant gives the byproduct of light reaction, that is the oxygen. So in light reaction, plant produce the oxygen which is very much required for us for our respiration, and they take the carbon dioxide which is very toxic to us, and they take it to utilize it as the food. They convert it into food. So they have very important role in the ecological balance, keeping ecological balance. They can keep balance of the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Now number 3, they give beautiful greenery to us. Gives beautiful greenery to us. In a green place we feel very happy. Sometimes we want to take the break in a green place, and this is good for our eye also. So this is about the chloroplast and some informations about the plastid. That's all in my today's topic. Okay, bye.